Once there was a boy who was born with no eyes, no hands and no feet. But his parents, they raised him, they fed him, and although they were poor, they brought him up strong. When he was old enough, they arranged a wedding, and he was married. And his task was to look after the food, while his wife and his father and his mother went into the forest to gather fruit, roots, and hunt. Well, one day, when he was at home, a stranger came to the house. "I am hungry. See what there is in the pot for me. I have no eyes. I cannot look in the pot. But if you are hungry, come into the house and help yourself." And the stranger entered the house, looked in the pot, and helped himself, and then left. And that evening the wife, father and mother returned from the forest, and they found that the pot was empty. What happened? He told them, "Why, this is our only food. I live from the charity of others. How can I refuse charity to others?" But the next day they asked him, "Guard the food. Do not give it away." When they were out in the forest the next day, the stranger came again. "I am hungry. Give me food from the pot. I have no hands. I cannot give you food from the pot. But if you are hungry, come into the house and help yourself." And the stranger entered the house, and with his hands he helped himself from the pot. And he left. That evening the wife, father and mother returned from the forest. "What is this? The pot is empty again." And when he told them, they became even angrier. "I live from the charity of others. How can I refuse charity to others?" They tried to persuade him. "Don't do this again. We are hungry. We have not eaten for 2 days. The next day they went into the forest to gather food. The stranger came and said, "I am hungry. Bring me food from the pot." "I cannot bring you food. I have no feet. But if you are hungry, come into the house and help yourself." Well, the stranger entered the house and helped himself and left. When his wife, father and mother returned that evening, they were furious. "The pot is empty again. What have you done?" His wife was so angry she swore that she would leave him. The next day, when his wife, father and mother went off into the forest to do their work, the stranger returned. "3 times you have given me food. Now it is time for us to strike a bargain. You will give to me the first thing that you make with your hands. You will give to me the first fruit that you gather. You will give me the first fruit of your labour." "How can I give you anything," said the young man, "when I have no hands, no feet, and no eyes?" "Open your eyes," said the stranger. And the young man opened his eyes, and for the first time in his life he could see. He looked. On his arms there were hands, on his legs there were feet. "Come, shake my hand." And the boy got up and walked to the stranger and shook him by the hand. The stranger said, "Remember the bargain that we have struck," and left. When his wife and father and mother returned that evening, they were amazed. "Our child, you can see, you can hold, you can walk." For the first time, he could see the beauty of his wife. For the first time, he could hold his wife. The next day, he began to learn all of the things that he had never learned before. Soon, he learned that he was good with his hands. He could make things from wood. He made a fine wooden chair. When he had finished, he thought, "This chair I can sell to provide for my family." He took the chair to the market, and soon it was sold. He made good money. The people in the market said, "Make us a chair." When he went home, he worked making the most beautiful chairs from the wood in the forest. He was quickly known as the best carpenter of the forest. One day, he was out walking, admiring with his eyes the beauty of the birds that flew from branch to branch, of the flowers in the trees. There he came across one tree, a high tree, that was laden with ripe fruit. The young man went, and using his feet and his hands, he climbed up the tall tree. He began to pluck the fruit from the tree. He gathered it. He tasted it. It was so good. "This fruit I can sell to provide for my family." He took the fruit and went to the market. There he sold the fruit for a good profit, and the fruit that he had left he took home and shared with his wife. "Husband," she said, "soon we will be wealthy. Tomorrow, take me to that tree." The next day, he went to the forest with his wife, and he found the tree, the high tree that bore so much ripe, sweet fruit. He left his wife on the ground and climbed into the high branches of the tree. Is that the end of the story? Not yet. But I think you can imagine what might happen next and how the story might finish. Don't you? Can't you? Maybe. Just have a whisper with the person next to you. What do you think is going to happen next? How do you think the story's going to finish? Okay. Who thinks there's a happy ending to this story? Who's changed their mind and thinks there might not be a happy ending? Interesting. What's your name?
Amalia.
Say it again.
Amalia.
Amaya? I'm sorry.
Amalia.
Amaya? More or less. Okay. Amaya, can you tell us, what do you think will happen at the end of the story? What happened at the end of the story?
I think the stranger will remove his eyes and his hands and his feet because he forgot all the things.
then at the end, what about his wife?
Leave him,
Do you think she will leave him?
maybe?
Wow. So he ends up with nothing. Whose ending is similar to Emmaus? Similar ideas? He'll lose everything because of the bargain he forgot. Yeah? Any different ideas? Different ending. Let's find out if Emmaus is close to the end of the story. He climbed up into the high branches of the tree and began to gather the sweet fruit. But beneath the tree, the stranger appeared. You did not keep the bargain that we struck. The first thing you made with your hands was a chair. That chair was mine, but you sold it. When you found fruit in my tree, you did not give the fruit to me. You sold it and gave some to your wife. You did not give me the first fruits of your labor, as we had agreed. Now, I ask for those gifts to be returned. Come to me, my eyes. And the eyes fell from the boy's head onto the ground below, and he could no longer see. Come to me, feet. And the feet dropped from his legs onto the ground, and he hung on by his fingers on the high branches of the tree. Come to me, hands. And the hands came away from the arms and dropped to the ground. And the young man fell from the high branches of the tree, and his body broke on the ground. And the stranger disappeared. And his wife found her young husband's body dead, and ran from the forest back home and told his father and his mother. And together they looked through the forest for this stranger who had the power to give such gifts and the power to take those gifts back. But they never found him. No eyes, no hands, no feet.